To change, then, is to be greater than the body. To be greater than the body conditioned emotionally into the past, or greater than the body as a habit. Remember, the body becomes the mind. That's a habit. The habit of the future on a program. Yes or no? That you would have to be greater than all the conditions in your environment. You couldn't use anybody to reaffirm your conditioning to that emotion. You understand what I mean? That you would understand then that if something in your environment began to change the way you were feeling and thinking, you would say, I'm back to the unconscious program that I'm a victim in my life. Because if I said to you, why are you unhappy? You'd say, that person or that condition is controlling my feelings and thoughts. And I'm back into the program. Yes or no? But if you catch yourself, that's another victory. Yes or no? So then if the environment is that strong, that it conditions us back into our old biology, if the body has been conditioned emotionally to be the mind, and that's 95% of who we are, and most people are living in the familiar past or the predictable future and never in the present moment, you would have to agree with me that instead of waking up every single day and remembering your problems and the emotions associated with them, instead of getting up and grabbing your smartphone, and 96% of the people that own a smartphone, the first thing they do when they wake up is they pick it up. That if they don't do that same routine every day and they stopped and they said, okay, let me do this. I think I'm going to disconnect from my outer environment. I'm going to retreat from all of that stimulation. I'm not going to be defined by my known environment. I'm going to put some blindfolds, I'm going to close my eyes, and now I have less sensory information coming into my brain. Yes or no? You're not being reminded of what's going on out there. And then if you put some earplugs in and you played some music that just relaxed you, all of a sudden you become less aware of hearing anything else, like the coffee maker, like the TV or whatever, your phone, that you fill the space with something. There would be less sensory information coming in, yes? And if you said to your body, now you listen to me, you stay right there. You stay, you be a good one, you stay right there, and I'm going to feed you, and you can check your WhatsApp, and you can make all your calls, and you can go pee-pee and do everything you need and lay down. But now, I'm the mind. And it's going to want to get up because it's been programmed, and you keep doing, settle it back down. That's a victory. And then it wants to go, let's see, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. This is normally when I get in traffic and get really angry. He's off schedule, so why don't I just drum up some anger for him? And all of a sudden you get all these images in your brain of things to be angry about. It's the body going, come on, come on, come on. It's just you're off schedule. And you become aware and you settle it back down into the present moment. That's another victory, yes or no? Yep. And now the body's going, what is going on here? And then your body will say, I'm dying. I'm dying in this meditation. I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I swear. And you say, get over here. And you keep bringing it back. Sooner or later, it's going to run out of tricks. Yes or no? And it's going to finally surrender to you. It's going to acquiesce. And that liberation of energy is freedom. It's joy. It's a person going, I don't know why I'm so happy. I don't know why I'm so free. I don't know why I feel so good, because they overcame themselves that day. Are you with me still? And people say to me, why do you meditate first thing in the morning? I always say the same thing. If I can overcome me at the beginning of the day, I can overcome anybody. The rest of my day is easy. Would you agree? Yes. And of course you overcome something about yourself. You'll be able to see a part of you in someone else who used to be that you no longer are. You go, funny, I used to do that. Now you're no longer the same person. Would you agree? And it would be worth the effort, yes or no? Yes. So then we have evidence, scientific evidence that you could create really coherent brainwave patterns. We have evidence that you can rock your house in there. The arousal that's going on in that brain is not an arousal that's created from the hormones of stress, like fear, anxiety, pain, suffering, aggression, or anger. This arousal is bliss. This arousal is an ecstasy. This is arousal that is producing a transcendental state of joy. And we have the research to show, we know the area of the brain that lights up every single time when this happens is the pineal gland, that little radio receiver in the back of your brain, and Brodmann's area 30. That is what my brain scientists call a positive trauma. Like, trauma. You have a trauma, you feel changed inside of you, you feel altered inside of you, you pay attention to the cause, the brain freezes reality and takes a snapshot. That's called a memory, a long-term memory. Are you with me still? So this arousal is coming with such an intensity that the imagery in the person's brain, they're paying attention to that lucid moment, and they're literally having an inward experience that's greater than the betrayal. The arousal of bliss or joy is greater than the suffering or the event in the past. Are you with me still? An experience enriches the brain, and we have research to show people change their brain circuitry, different brain. And it produces a very strong signal to the body, but the signal is not chemical. The signal is electric. It's electromagnetic. It's a thrill. It's an order in the body. It's the body aligning to order and frequency. Person's getting a biological upgrade. We have the research to show. There it was, and now it's not. Where'd it go? I don't know. You tell me. That person who had that moment would be more loving, more kind, more present, more free. They would care less about what people thought of them. They would feel blessed every single day. Would you agree? So they're in a new body, they're in a new life, they're in a whole new time. And that could happen to you. So we have this evidence that you could create perfect, orderly heart coherence. In fact, we have research to show that even when you're not practicing heart coherence, if you practice it, your heart just may all of a sudden burst open with love. Imagine that people just have to stop for a moment. That is so big that they have to stop and surrender to it. It could happen to you. So we have this incredible research that people can change their biology in a very short amount of time. We have evidence, testimony, when people walk on that stage in a week-long event and say, I had stage 4 cancer. I had a very serious accident, and I thought that this work worked for everybody until it became time for me. And then I never really thought it could work for me. I thought it could work for everybody else but me. And now I really made up my mind to heal. And she tells that story in front of an audience. Or a woman who's has stroke and blind. In one meditation, she's got her vision back. We have the scans before and after to show complete recovery. This doesn't happen with stroke patients. You lose it in 2 weeks. The nerve cells are going to degenerate. She was blind in 1/4 of her eye, both sides. She couldn't drive. She couldn't work. She couldn't type. Her life changed. She's a nurse. Doctors told her, you learn to live with it. And one doctor said, well, go see that Dispenza guy. I'm going, so let's go. She came. And in the middle of a walking meditation, it occurred to her that she could actually heal it. Imagine that. I said, why did you come? Well, I just wanted to create a nonprofit, and really, seriously, I just wanted to learn how to live with it. So she had the thought that she could heal it because she was so empowered. And lay down after that meditation, hearing this crackling and popping in her head, known or unknown. She could think something bad, or you could surrender. She surrendered all the way, and that heat got more and more in her brain. It was energy. She opened her eyes afterwards, and the lights were back on. That's a miracle. It happened in an instant. We have people with 50 brain tumors. 50 brain tumors weren't supposed to live through the night. Many, many times. Seizures. Now here's the question. Because you can't tell me you're too old to do this work any longer. We got elders in this work that know how to go into gamma. They know how to do it. You can't tell me you're too sick to do this work any longer. I have people that are super sick. 50 brain tumors. Here's the question. Do you think there were some days where he didn't feel like doing his meditation? Hello. Guess what? He did it anyway. That was all he had. And he overcame his body a little bit more that day. And there were days he was in so much fear because the doctors told him he wasn't going to make it. And every day he could have surrendered to fear and not do his meditation, but he made up his mind he was going to surrender to love that day and trust a little bit more, open his heart a little bit more. And he overcame his fear a little bit more. And he overcame his doubt because his family was worried about him and they thought he was going to die. And he had to overcome his doubt every day, and he never missed a day. And there were days where he could have said, I'm too busy. I got too many things to do. I got to go here, I got to go there. But he never missed a day. He made time. And he just kept overcoming something, and he became somebody else. He stood on the stage. There's one little small tumor, a benign tumor. The other 49 or 50 went away, gone. Where'd they go? And he's the most humble, sweetest guy. He's simple. And people in the audience with cancer are looking at him thinking, God, if he'd do it, I could do it. Now, someone else is believing in the 4-minute mile.